They thought the dead were resting in peace, until it was discovered the coffins were full of heroin. Frank Lucas didn't just challenge the American drug trade in the late 1960s, he declared war on the Italian Mafia. At a time when New York's underworld was tightly controlled by the five families, Lucas did the unthinkable. He cut them out completely. Lucas came up under Harlem legend Bumpy Johnson, watching how power really worked. Violence mattered, but supply mattered more. When Bumpy died, Lucas didn't inherit the throne. He redesigned it. While the Mafia relied on layered middlemen and long-standing traditions, Lucas saw inefficiency, and inefficiency meant opportunity. The Italian Mafia dominated heroin distribution in the U.S., importing it through Europe, diluting it, and selling it at a premium. Everyone paid their cut. Frank Lucas refused to pay anyone. Instead, he went straight to Southeast Asia during the Vietnam War, embedding himself near the source. Using military connections, corruption, and extreme secrecy, Lucas claimed to have smuggled heroin into the United States, hidden inside coffins, carrying fallen American soldiers. The story has been debated for years, but what isn't disputed is this. Lucas introduced a level of purity and volume that New York had never seen. He called it blue magic. Blue magic was nearly pure heroin, sold cheaper than the Mafia's watered-down product. Overnight, the streets changed. Addicts flocked to it. Dealers switched allegiance. Entire neighborhoods collapsed under the weight of addiction and death. Harlem was flooded and bodies followed. The Mafia was enraged. Lucas wasn't just stealing money, he was humiliating them. He broke their rules, ignored their hierarchy, and proved their system wasn't untouchable. Tensions exploded into violence. Dealers were killed. Turf wars erupted. But Lucas stayed insulated. He didn't sell directly on the street. He ran his operation like a corporation. Tight control, strict discipline, and absolute loyalty. For a while it worked. At his peak, Frank Lucas was reportedly making over $1 million a day. He hid cash in walls and ceilings, bought properties across the country, and lived like a king. But his biggest mistake was visibility. Attending a Muhammad Ali fight in a $100,000 chinchilla coat, Lucas made himself impossible to ignore, by police and enemies alike. Law enforcement closed in. The DEA tracked supply routes. Wiretaps mounted. And as pressure increased, the cracks began to show. Loyalty faded. Associates talked. The empire started collapsing from the inside. In 1975, Frank Lucas was arrested, facing a sentence that could have put him away for life. Then came the final shock. He cooperated. Lucas gave up names, routes, and corrupt officials, helping dismantle not only his own organization, but major sections of the Mafia's heroin network. To the streets, he became a traitor. To the Mafia, he proved their distrust was justified. Lucas served reduced time, was released, rearrested, and eventually faded into obscurity. But the damage remained. Blue magic left entire communities devastated. Families were destroyed. Addiction lingered long after the money vanished. Frank Lucas lived to old age, rare for someone who challenged the Mafia and survived. For a brief moment in history, coffins meant for honor became vessels of poison, and the war between Frank Lucas and the Italian Mafia ensured that everyone paid the price.